Have you ever wondered why, while Bitcoin is being pumped by billions of dollars in borrowed debt, the smartest minds in global finance are looking in the opposite direction? They call it back to the future. But what if the future they are talking about isn't a new technology at all, but an old discipline wrapped in a code that only one asset can execute? Why is Judy Shelton talking about a unified ledger at the exact same moment gold is breaking every record in history? And why is the most expensive money glitch in the world, MicroStrategy, starting to show its first cracks, right as XRP approaches a level it hasn't touched in years? Tonight, we aren't just looking at charts. We are looking at the blueprint of the global reset. If you miss the connection between $1.60 and the new gold standard, you might be watching the wrong market entirely. Welcome back. To understand the current chaos in the charts, you must first step back and look at the grand design. The world is tired of variable money, money that depends on who is sitting in the chair at the Federal Reserve, money that is tossed around by derivatives and speculators. When Judy Shelton speaks about a return to the gold standard, she isn't calling for a retreat into history. She is calling for a back-to-the-future moment. What does a gold standard actually represent? It represents monetary discipline. It means money becomes a reliable unit of account, a stable foundation where businesses can actually make 50-year plans instead of 5-minute trades. But here's the twist that most people miss. Shelton explicitly mentioned that this new standard could be used in a cryptocurrency way. She is talking about a unified money system. In the international marketplace, the current friction is destroying global growth. Every country is playing on a different field with different rules. To fix this, the world needs a unified ledger, a system where every central bank, every corporation, and every treasury operates on the same level playing field. This is where the XRP ledger moves from a crypto project to a global necessity. Interoperability is the only path forward. Without it, we have fragmentation, and fragmentation leads to economic collapse. The vision being laid out by the elites is clear. The BIS, Bank for International Settlements, they provide the regulatory framework. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, they manage the basket of currencies, or SDRs. The gold connection, precious metals, provide the intrinsic anchor, XRP. The XRP ledger provides the speed, the settlement, and the unified rail. Look at the signals. Gold is hitting new all-time highs every week. Silver is breaking out of decades-long patterns. This isn't just price action. This is the market telling you that the US dollar as a reserve currency has already failed. The dollar is no longer backed by anything but trust, and in a world of geopolitical shifts and the Japanese carry trade unfolding, trust is a vanishing commodity. We are moving towards a global reset, a system where fiat is no longer the king, but merely a passenger on a digital rail anchored by gold. Most investors are distracted by the noise of the SEC or the latest meme coin. They are missing the infrastructure shift. XRP was built for this exact moment. It was designed to handle the liquidity of nations, not just the speculation of retail. The blueprint is on the table. The unified system is being built. And as the old system burns, the new digital gold standard is rising from the ashes. But if the future is so bright, why does the short term look so dark? Why is the king of crypto, Bitcoin, starting to look like a house of cards? Let's go behind the curtain of the MicroStrategy illusion. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. While the crypto world is distracted by memes, a dangerous infinite money glitch is reaching its breaking point. We are told that MicroStrategy is the ultimate institutional buyer. But look closer. As of late January 2026, Michael Saylor has accumulated over 712,000 BTC. He spent over $54 billion to get there, with an average purchase price that has climbed to nearly $76,000. The market sees $54 billion in buying and wonders why Bitcoin isn't at $500,000 yet. The truth is terrifying. MicroStrategy isn't using its own capital, it is borrowing from creditors and issuing equity in a perpetual dilution machine. But who is selling to them? This is where the Satoshi-era wallets enter the story. Our on-chain investigations show a chilling pattern. Wallets that have been dormant since 2011, coins mined when Bitcoin was worth cents, are suddenly waking up. These aren't just early miners. These wallets have direct connections to the very first blocks of the network. They are sending BTC to centralized exchanges in massive trenches, 2,000 to 3,000 BTC at a time. The infinite money glitch works like this. Saylor borrows money to buy. The Satoshi-era whales sell into that liquidity. It is a massive exit liquidity event disguised as institutional adoption. Furthermore, the system is propped up by Tether, an asset that has been accused of inflating prices out of thin air to prevent the house of cards from collapsing. If Bitcoin loses the $73,000 support level, MicroStrategy's entire strategy begins to bleed. If it drops to their average cost basis, the creditors will start to panic. The stock market has already noticed. MSTR shares have plummeted over 50% in the last year, even as Bitcoin stayed relatively stable. The proxy is failing. The disconnect is real. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It is a speculative bubble fueled by debt and Tether. Once the Ponzi scheme runs out of new borrowers, the Satoshi shadow will disappear with the real cash, leaving the retail investors holding the bag of a dead network. This is the reality the maximalists don't want you to see. While Bitcoin struggles with its identity crisis, XRP is facing its own moment of truth. Is it about to fall into a black swan abyss? Or is it the only asset with the utility to survive the crash? Let's look at the XRP charts and the levels that will define your future. Now, we move from the global macro to the cold, hard reality of the charts. If you have been following my previous sessions, you know that I do not believe in hope. I believe in levels. The XRP chart is currently a battlefield. On one side, we have the most powerful utility ever built for finance. On the other, we have a short-term bearish structure that is testing the nerves of every holder. This is the most important number in your world right now, $1.60. This isn't just a support level, it is the floor of the infrastructure. When we look at the volume profile and the historical structure, if XRP loses the $1.60 mark on a weekly close, there is a gravity void. Below this level, we could witness a massive black swan event, a scenario where panic selling and forced liquidations could drive the price as low as 70 cents. Do I think this is the end? Absolutely not. I have my buying orders sitting there, waiting, because a drop to those levels would be the final shakeout before the system flips. On the flip side, for us to talk about a sustainable bullish momentum, XRP has one job: break and hold $2.30. Anything between $1.60 and $2.30 is nothing but noise. It is the waiting room of the financial reset. If we break $2.30, we aren't just looking at a price increase. We are looking at the market finally pricing in the G Treasury acquisition, the RLUSD liquidity, and the unified ledger we discussed in Section 1. While retail looks at the price, I look at the fundamentals. Look at what is happening. Gold is at all-time highs. The Japanese carry trade is unwinding. The dollar's purchasing power is evaporating. XRP's true price appreciation depends on the failure of the old system. The more the current financial pipes burst, the more valuable the new rails become. I am extremely bullish on XRP for the long term, but I am a realist in the short term. If we see a crash, do not see it as a disaster. See it as the market giving you one last chance to increase your position before the guardrails of the old world are permanently removed. This is why I keep capital aside. This is not financial advice, but it is strategic planning. We are moving towards a system where every transaction, every cross-border payment, and every central bank reserve will need the liquidity of the XRP ledger. The question isn't if. The question is, will you be patient enough to be there when it happens? Don't let the short-term noise steal your long-term victory. In a market driven by impulse and noise, clarity becomes an advantage. A simple reminder: speed creates mistakes, while calm evaluation creates strength. Thank you for the trust and for being part of a community that values logic over emotion. Patience is discipline. Rational thinking is protection. Stay safe. As always, the future isn't something to wait for. It's something to prepare for. Stay safe.